and I'm here. Let's see. Is there anything else that everybody here needs? We are recording. You guys can say hello.
And we're ready to start, right?
Elba, if you hear us, give a thumbs up. Are you ready to start, Elba? Excellent.
Okay.
And so at this point, you are recording.
Okay. We're ready.
And I would just say, if anybody out here is looking for a dedicated English channel, this is it. If you're looking for the dedicated Spanish channel, there is a button at the bottom that switches the language options for any attendee.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. We'll begin now. Okay, I want to welcome everyone. I can't see you, but I'm trusting that you're there. I'm so happy that you decided to join us. My name is Helene Becker, and my co-presenter and Spanish interpreter is Elba Yantin Cruz, and she's on with me. Si usted quiere escuchar en español, por favor, oprima el botón abajo que dice Spanish. So this is a special meeting for parents and guardians of our wonderful English learners throughout the district. And again, I'm so happy that you're here. So I want to explain the purpose of the meeting. And it will be kind of brief, I think, because we want to leave time for questions at the end. Okay, so if you have questions, please type them into the chat. And at the end, Elba and I will address your questions. If we don't get to your question, because if we run out of time, there will be a contact information slide, our last slide, and you will be able to email us with your questions, because we want to make sure that all your questions are answered. Okay, so I don't know if I said that before, but I'm Helene Becker. I'm the director of the English Learner Education Program, and Elba is the ESL supervisor. So we both head up the department, and that's why we're the people who are talking to you today. So the purpose of this meeting is to explain the different program models, and this was already explained in a forum that the superintendent gave. However, you may have missed it. And the part that we're going to add is the part about beginner English learners, because there's an extra option for parents to choose during this COVID situation when school starts that might be relevant for you if you have a beginner English learner in your home that's going to school. So I'll be explaining that in a couple of minutes. The second purpose of the meeting is to review key points of the reopening plan, again, that the superintendent already spoke about in her meetings, but we'd like to review some of that with you. And the third part will be to answer any questions that you have. And again, just put them in the chat and we'll answer those questions at the end of this presentation. Okay, so as I said, there are 3 parts, so we'll do the first part right now. And what we're going to talk about are the different program models that you as parents and guardians need to think about and decide which is the best model for your child. So at the elementary school level, all students are invited in to come to school every single day. So hopefully you're aware of that option. If you feel for some reason that you do not want your child to come to school for health reasons, maybe there's someone in your home who's elderly and you don't want to take the chance of getting them ill, you do have a virtual option. I would encourage you, though, if at all possible, and if you feel that it's safe, to have your child come to school every day, because even though there is a virtual option, especially for English learners, they need a lot of speaking practice and they need to speak with their peers. So that would be the best option for them, again, if you feel safe. But I would encourage you, if you're on the fence and you are not sure, that to at least consider the in-person option. Okay, let's talk about the middle school. At the middle school, we are doing a 3-2 option. So we have 3 days AAA we're calling them, with in-person instruction, and then 2 days for virtual. We call that BB. That's the first week. And the second week, it reverses. So those who were in person the first week will then be virtual the second week for 3 days and 2 days in person. The building will be divided in about half, so that half the school will be in at any time, and they will switch continually between in-person and virtual. But what I want to point out to you about our L's is that if you have a child in your home that is a beginner and is just beginning to learn English in their first or second year, you will have the option of sending your child every day in person. These are students that are in the ESL classes at the middle school and ESL social studies. Those are the classes that we have for our beginner L's. So if your child is in one of those classes, they are entitled to come every day. So you have actually 3 choices at the middle school. You can send your child in with the hybrid model, which I explained to you, which is in-person and virtual combination. Or if your child is a beginner, they can come every day to school. And of course, the third option is all virtual, if that's what you feel is best in your situation. And only you as the parent or guardian can decide that. Now, if you don't know if your child is a beginner, the best thing to do is to call the school and talk to the principal, because they will be able to tell you if your child is registered in an ESL class or an ESL social studies class. Okay, now at the high school, we also have that in-person option for beginners. Those would be the children in our L Foundations class or our L Development class. And those are our 2 classes for beginners, first-year beginner and second-year beginner. So at the high school, just as with the middle school, you have 3 options. The hybrid model is a little bit different at the high school. Instead of 3 days and 2 days, it's 2 days and then 2 days. So in other words, it's 2 days in person, 2 days virtual, then it goes back to 2 days in person, 2 days virtual, and so forth. Every 2 days, it changes. So that is the hybrid option, which you can choose. Or if your child is a beginner L, you may choose the in-person everyday model. And of course, your third option is all virtual, if you feel safest that way and want your child to be only in a remote situation for a variety of reasons, and that you as the parent have that option. Again, though, I would encourage you, if you feel safe and you have a beginner L in their first 2 years of learning English, I would encourage you to have them come in person, because this is a wonderful option for learning, to have your child in every single day. Again, this is for children in the EL, I shouldn't call them children, they're high school. These are for our high school teenagers who are in our L Foundations class or our L Development class. And once again, you would need to call the school unless your child knows their schedule, or if, for example, if they were in EL Foundations last year, they would probably be in EL Development this year. So they may already know which class they're in, but if you're not sure, you can call the school and find out. And by the way, if you're calling the school and you can't get an answer from the school, please email me or Elba, and our contact information is at the end of this presentation, and I'll leave that slide up for a while so you can either take a picture of it or take down the information. because we want to make sure that you have all the answers. So if you can't get an answer at the school because we are still in a somewhat virtual, some people are still working from home, it may not be easy to get an answer, please email me and I'll get an answer for you. Okay, so just to remind you, you all got a reopening selection form sent to you through email. You needed to fill out that form for every child in your household. So there was a separate form for each child. However, this is very important. If your child is in middle or high school, if your child qualifies for full day, meaning in person every day, the full day model, please call the school to express your choice. That's very important because this was not a choice on the form that you got at home. If you didn't get the form, it's especially important that you call the school to let them know your decision, your choice for your child. Okay, so that was our review of the program models, and I hope I was clear in explaining, but again, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Now I would like to review with you some key points of the reopening plan, just to make sure you understand some facts about it. And the superintendent did explain all this in her town hall, but it does always pay to review and make sure you understand everything. So, just so you know, the safety procedures, that's mostly what these key points are. We want you to be aware of the safety procedures that are in place so that your children will be in as safe an environment as we can provide. And this may help you to decide which model you want for your child. So, the first point here, there will be reduced classroom density, and that's why we're only having half the children in at once and half the children the other days. There will be plexiglass partitions, guards, and shields, and signage. So there will be partitions in certain places in the school for safety. Those plexiglass, we call them wellness shields. There will be signage so that students know which direction to walk in, because we don't want students crossing in hallways and being too close to each other. There will be hand sanitizer and washing stations, and we will encourage students to wash their hands very often. And there will be an isolation room in every school. That means that if there is a child who is sick or shows signs that they might be sick, they will be put in an isolation room away from all the other students and staff until we can send them home. Transportation is available for students who would normally be eligible on days that they will be in school. So if your child is eligible for bus transportation, we will have that available. There will be breakfast and lunch every day for the in-person students and for the remote students. So if your student is remote and learning virtually, breakfast and lunch will still be available. And I'm sure schools will let you know how to obtain that. Also, everyone will be wearing masks, and we will have extra masks available, disposable ones, just in case your child forgets their mask. So we will have every child wearing a mask in the school. So those are the safety measures that we have in place, which should help you make your decision about which model you want to follow for your child. Now, at the elementary school, all students are enrolled by grade level, and they have a teacher, whether they are remote or virtual, same thing, or in person. So they will be assigned to a teacher. That's in case that you decide after a while to change your preference. The students, for example, if you have a remote child and then you decide to send them to school, they will be in the same class as they were remotely. We have decided to give children mask breaks where they will be allowed to take off their masks in a supervised environment so that they are socially distanced and it will be safe, because we understand that it's very difficult for them to be wearing their mask all the time in school. There will be aftercare provided, so we will have after-school programs if you need that. Lunch will be in the classroom. All meals will be prepackaged, or of course they can bring food from home. Prepackaged so that they're the only ones touching them and nobody else. They'll be opening up a secure package. There will be recess. Students will be encouraged to play outdoors. They will be in a cohort, meaning that it's their group, their class, or their grade, and we're not going to be mixing grades. So they will be outdoors in a special location. They'll know they have to stay in that location and only mix with the children we tell them to. And they will be in socially distance-friendly games so that they will not be close to each other. We are in the process of planning these games so they can still have fun and exercise outdoors, but in a safe manner. Now, if you are at Narromake, Silvermine, or Tracy, and you have a 4th or 5th grader, because of social distancing and because we had to use all the classrooms to make sure that each room only has a certain number of children, in those 3 schools, we needed to place the 4th or 5th graders, in some case both 4th and 5th graders, at the old Jefferson campus. So instead of going to Narromake, Silvermine, or Tracy, if you have a 4th or 5th grader, they might be physically going to the old Jefferson campus instead of the Narromake, Silvermine, and Tracy buildings. They will still be Narromake, Silvermine, and Tracy students. It's just that they'll be located to the old Jefferson campus. They will not be Jefferson students. In fact, Jefferson students are at a different campus altogether. Students will be taught by their regular teachers from their home school. Transportation will be provided to Jefferson, so you don't have to worry about that. In fact, at 5 o'clock today, and we'll make sure we end on time, if you're in that situation and you have a 4th or 5th grader at Narromake, Silvermine, and Tracy, there is another meeting, another Zoom meeting at 5 o'clock today that you can tune into to learn more about this. Okay, so for middle school, recess will be held again in cohorts in designated areas. Lunch will be for students in their classrooms, individually packed, or the option to bring from home, so it's the same as the elementary school. Hallway passing time has been organized to minimize student density. So in other words, it won't be as it was before COVID, where everyone is in the hallway at the same time. It's going to be organized so that there will be only a certain number of students in the hall at once, and I assume that they will be staggering the passing times to minimize how many students are in the hallway at once. The school principals will communicate to you which days students are expected to report, because remember, it's a hybrid model, unless you're choosing the in-person for your beginner L. And there will be 12 to 14 students in each class, so it will only be 50% of the students in each day for the hybrid model. And by the way, if you choose the in-person model for your beginner Ls, we've already accounted for that. It will still be 12 to 14 kids in each class, so you don't have to worry that the classes will be bigger. They will not. We are doing the math and we are counting how many students per class so that we don't go over the allotted amount. But that's why we need to know if you want the in-person model, so we can make sure that we do the math correctly and we are safe. In high school, again, schools will operate at 50% daily capacity. Desks will be 6 feet apart, as in the other levels, middle and elementary as well. Dining will be a little different for the high school students. There will be cafe-style setups. So there'll be, instead of one big cafeteria, there will be different, like little cafes around the school, so that students will be able to be distanced from each other and there won't be too many students in one place at once. And they'll have 4 menu options. So as I said, these meal setups will be with social distancing. After school activities such as sports and electives will be available. We're not sure about the band yet, so we're waiting for state guidelines to see how the band will operate. And as with middle school, all transitions, meaning passing in the hallway, will be staggered so that we're reducing student density. Okay, so of course students need devices. All students will have devices, so just so you know a little bit more about that. If you have students in kindergarten, first grade, or second grade, you'll receive your new device when you return to school the first day. We have special devices for you that are more kid-friendly than the Chromebooks. So you'll receive them when you get to school on the first day. If you chose distance remote learning, you'll be contacted by the principal to pick up the device a few days before school starts. If you have a 3rd through 8th grader, they already have their devices. If your student is in high school, you'll be receiving a new laptop beginning this week. So maybe some of you have already been contacted. So principals will be contacting you to schedule a time when you can come to pick up your child's new computer, or your teenager can go and pick up their computer. We want you to know about new technology support that we're instituting once school starts. So on any day, if you're having a problem with understanding, or your child has a problem with understanding how to log on to a particular program, how to get into the lesson, we will have a phone number for you to call between 8 a.m. and 12, and then again from 1 p.m. to 4, where you can get help. So you will be able to call in, or if you have internet, to go into a Zoom just like you are now, and you will get live help with any aspect of technology. Support will include connectivity questions, password resets, anything about your device that you don't understand. Also, questions about the applications that students are using to get their lessons. So for example, if a student is having trouble with Google Classroom, or the program they'll be using for the younger students, which is called Seesaw, or any of the applications, and you're having trouble understanding how to navigate with it and learn from it and be involved in the learning, you can go to this Zoom or call-in number and you'll get help for most of the day. So that's something, we had some of that during summer school, but we've expanded it so that all day, except for that 1 hour, 12 to 1 lunchtime, you can get help. And this is for parents and for students. We also will have a depot center set up for you to schedule a time if you have a broken device, if your device isn't working, if you lose a cord, if something, you drop your device, anything happens, we will try to help you as soon as possible. We don't want any child to be missing instruction. So we will have this center and you'll be able to make an appointment to come as soon as possible to resolve this issue. We also want you to know that for those of you who are interested and learning more about supporting your child with technology, with anything that they're learning in school, we have produced online workshops for parents. This is very new and exciting. So you will be able to get onto these webinars and learn about what your children are learning and how you can help them. I believe they have already started, but they are all recorded and you'll be able to go on at any time and see them and review them if you've already seen it, but you're not sure and you want to see it a second time. So you'll be able to do that. So we're very excited about that. And you can see the website at the bottom of the screen to get more information and to find out about these webinars. Okay, so we finished sharing our information and we would like to leave the rest of the time for questions. Now, I told you that I would put the contact information on the screen while we're answering questions. So I would suggest that you either take a picture of this or copy the information down, because if we don't get a chance to answer your questions, which we'll start doing in a few minutes, please feel free to email or call either myself or Elba. I'm happy to answer questions in English, and Elba will answer questions in Spanish. I do speak Spanish, so you can call me, but my Spanish isn't up to the degree of Elba's, who's a native speaker, so you might want to email her or call her with Spanish questions. It's up to you. Please, in the subject line of your email, please write either town hall question or pregunta del foro, and this way we'll be sure to check your email right away in order to answer your question, because we get many emails in a day and we want to make sure that we don't miss yours. So if you put that in your subject line of your email, that will help us. It will draw our attention to your question, which we would love to answer. So again, I'm so excited that you decided to join us today. And now we would like to see the chat. So I am going to stop sharing. Oops. I hope you all took a picture of that. Jeff, did I need to stop sharing my screen, or can I leave it up there? Are you on?
Hi, are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I leave my screen up in case people need to see it?
Yes.
Okay, let me put it back up. And we need to see the chat at this point, so Elba and I can answer questions. And Elba needs to come out of the Spanish room, and we
Okay.
will answer together
Okay.
in English and Spanish so that we can see the questions together.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
So let me see. Panelists, more.
And thank you for your patience, everyone. You know, this technology, we're doing our best with it, but sometimes there are delays and sometimes hitches, but we're trying our best.
So I type in if I click on the interpreter.
And this is the first time we're doing this with an interpreter in this way. So you are the guinea pigs here, and we appreciate your patience.
I'm not sure how to withdraw somebody from the interpreter position. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to remove her, and this might kick her out. I'm not sure. Let's see what happens.
And then Elba, come back in.
Elba, are you there?
I'm here.
Ah, there we
great.
go.
Yay!
Yay.
Okay, so now we need to see the chat, Jeff.
Okay, so
you just
chat,
click on QA, right?
click
Or
on
chat?
either Q&A or chat at the bottom, yes.
Oh, okay.
So you guys are both co-hosts, so you should be able to see those two buttons at the bottom.
Okay, then I will have to stop sharing, actually. Okay, so I hope everybody got the information, the contact information. Okay.
So they're asking us, somebody's asking in the chat, what's the number for the school? The number of the school depends on the school that you're in, right?
Mm-hmm. You want to translate that? Or...
So alguien está, tiene una pregunta que cuál es el número telefónico de la escuela, pero depende de la escuela. Las escuelas tienen diferentes números telefónicos. Sí,
perhaps if they go to the website, or...
si van a la página de web de Norwalk, quizás la encuentran ahí. Yes. Yo no tengo los números telefónicos al frente de mí. We don't have the numbers right in front of us.
But if you're not sure and you don't normally use the internet and you want to just ask us, it's certainly something you can email either Elba or myself, and we'll be happy to give you the school number.
Right, we can look that up.
We don't have it in front of us.
Yes, we can look it up for you, definitely.
I see another question. Can you switch to remote? I'm not sure exactly if you mean that if you've chosen in school and then you decide remote, yes, you can change. A parent has the right to change from remote to in-person, either to the hybrid, or if you have a beginner L, to all in-person, right, for the beginner Ls. You can switch at any time. You can tell the school that you want to switch. There'll probably be a 2-week delay because we have to get organized for that. We have to make sure that of the class size and all that, but it'll just take us a little bit to make the switch. But yes, you may switch. Once you decide on something, you can switch. And certainly now you can switch. If you chose remote, and then after this presentation, you now decided that you want your child to go every day in person because maybe you didn't realize there was that option for beginners. Yes, call the school and you can switch. It's very easy to switch now before the school year starts. That's what I would recommend if you're thinking of switching, to do it right away, because then there won't be a delay. You can do it right now.
So, si usted quiere cambiar su decisión sobre si su hijo va a estar en persona o va a hacer las clases virtualmente, usted puede cambiarlo hasta ahora. Puede cambiarlo ahora, pero ya cuando empiece las clases, usted puede también, tiene el poder de cambiar esa decisión y llamar a la escuela para decirles, cambié mi mente y quiero que mi hijo o hija entre a la escuela o que salga de la escuela y que vaya a aprender virtualmente. Usted tiene, casi siempre toman como 2 semanas para el proceso. Los directores desean que ustedes le den como dos semanas, pero usted sí puede cambiar su mente.
There's a question in Spanish, Elba.
Mi hija estudia en
West
West
Rocks.
Rocks. Quiero saber qué día adentro y que les estudiaron en remoto. ¿A qué horas empiezan y terminan la clase? Gracias. El horario, the schedule of West Rocks is going to be, in general, maybe we could give the general, but then it specifically depending on the student, right?
Yeah, in fact, it was just posted on the website today, because I see you want to know the time it begins and ends as well. It was just posted on the website today. It should be there now. The PowerPoint presentation that the superintendent gave, and that has more details about the beginning time and end time in general. It might be a little different for a particular school, but it shows you a full schedule of a student. So you can look on the website for that presentation. You can also always call the school and they will help.
Okay, so aquí tengo información para usted. Usted puede chequear la página de web de West Rocks y ellos tienen el video de la noche de anoche que hicieron una reunión, pero también el video, la presentación que hizo la superintendente, yo creo que fue la semana pasada, last week, right? Hay información.
But it was just posted. The PowerPoint was just posted today on the general Norwalk Public School West.
Okay,
website.
también la presentación está disponible en la página de web de Norwalk para que usted vea el horario de cada escuela específica. Ahora, en cuanto el horario específico de su hija, dependiendo del grupo donde la ponen. Por ejemplo, si ella está en un grupo de nivel de aprendices que empezaron el inglés, quizás pues tiene la opción de venir todos los días, pero usted tiene que chequear con el director de la escuela para saber específicamente el horario de su hijo, de su hija.
And if it's the hybrid, then it would be that 3 days in school, 2 days at home, and then it would reverse the next week. But we don't know your child, which group they're in. If you're asking if it starts Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or if they come in Thursday, Friday, that's something you have to find out at the school.
Okay, and in the chat, there is a link provided with West Rock's video from last night with that information. So, en el chat, usted puede, el enlace que le proveyeron ahora, Jeffrey Bradbury le proveyó el enlace para que usted vaya a chequear el video de anoche para ver el horario específico para West Rocks. pero de todos modos tienes que averiguar si su hija, aunque esté en octavo grado, she's in 8th grade, aunque esté en octavo grado, también tiene que chequear específicamente el horario para su hija. So somebody's asking, how will it work for child learning from a child learning from home? He's an L student.
In regular English, though.
Yes, it's in English.
No, I'm sorry, what's the question, Elba?
The question is, how will it work for a child learning from home? And he is an L student. I guess they want to know what it would be like for an L student learning from home.
So from remote learning for an L student, it would be, they would be in their L class with their classmates learning in person. They would also be in the classroom, but remotely, learning from the same teachers as the other students. So they would get their ESL class, their ESL social studies class, and all their other classes. It would just be remote while other children are in the room learning in person. So the teacher will be teaching both groups at the same time.
Así que la maestra del salón de clase va a hacer las presentaciones en vivo y mientras que está haciendo la presentación en vivo va a hacer la presentación para los estudiantes en la computadora. Pero todavía los niños de EL van a recibir apoyo para los servicios de EL.
I see the question here, can I do half remote and half school? Yes, that's the hybrid model. So your child would be in 3 days 1 week and 2 days the next week and would be doing remote on the other days. So that's definitely one of your choices if you're, I'm assuming you're a middle school parent.
So somebody's saying that their child is in regular English class, which probably means that she has the option of attending all the time virtually or the hybrid.
Or the hybrid.
Correct.
It's only for the beginner Ls who are just came to this country or are here a year or two that are invited to come in person every day.
So people keep asking about, and I'm going to translate this in Spanish too, but people keep asking about whether they can go half and half. Technically, the half and half is the schedule that the school is going to give all students, regular ed students, and it depends, every student is different, but the school will reach out to all families to let them know which cohort your children will fall under, which group your children will be in. For example, one cohort or one group of students will have, I think it's AAA for middle school, and then
Yes.
BB. And then the other group will have BBB and then AA, right? So so in other words, there will be 50% of the students in school on a daily basis. So the question about, can I go half-time remote and half-time in person, that's already part of the program at the middle school. So I hope that clarifies that. And I'm going to say it in Spanish, but hay una pregunta.
That's the definition of our hybrid model.
Right.
Yeah.
Hay una pregunta que sigue saltando, que es que si los estudiantes pueden ir mitad del tiempo en persona y mitad del tiempo virtualmente. Y en actualidad, el programa que tienen ahora para la middle school es ese programa. Se llama el programa hybrid, híbrido, es un programa híbrido. Entonces entonces ya está listo el programa para que parte del tiempo puedan estar en persona y parte del tiempo puedan estar virtuales. Pero usted no escoge los días. You don't get to choose the days. I think that's what you're asking. The schools have to set up the schedule on which days you would attend and which days you're doing virtual learning.
And what time does school start? That would be, it depends on the school. I'm not sure what school that is, but school generally starts, around 8 o'clock, but it could be a little different from, Nathan Hale. I would go on the Nathan Hale website and there should be information there. There might be a recording of the Nathan Hale individual town hall. that you could find there, or you can always call the school, and the school will be able to tell you. We just don't have that information in front of us.
Oh, there's another link. Hay un enlace ahí para Nathan Hill. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff, for helping us. Are there any other questions? If you think of a question later, you have our contact information. So please contact us. We're very happy to help you. We're here to help the parents.
Sí,
So,
después de esta reunión, si hay cualquier pregunta, pueden mandarnos el correo electrónico, la pregunta en el correo electrónico. Estamos aquí para ayudarles.
okay. If there are no other questions, then I think we're ready to end the meeting.
Okay.
Remember that those of you who have 4th and 5th graders at Naramake, Silvermine, or Tracy, there is another meeting at 5 o'clock, which is in about 15 minutes, where you can get more information about that. So I would strongly suggest that you attend that meeting as well if you can. Okay, so I'd like to thank all of you who attended. I wish I could see all of you, but we can't in this format. We can only see each other, the 3 of us. But I can see the number that came on, so I know you're there. And I hope that you will contact us if you have any questions, and good luck with everything. I know this isn't easy. It isn't easy for anyone, for the staff, for the students, and especially for the parents, and you have to make that decision for your child. And I know that you want to do the best thing, and it's not an easy decision, but whatever you do, your children will get a good education this year, and we hope everyone stays healthy and safe.
Gracias por venir. Estamos aquí disponibles para ayudarlos. Acuérdense que si tiene estudiantes en Tracy, Naramake, o what's the other school?
Silvermine.
Silvermine, hay reunión a las 5, perdón, Silvermine, hay reunión a las 5 si usted desea ir a la reunión para ver los detalles de cómo va a ser el inicio de clases.
For 4th and 5th grade.
Para 4º y 5º grado. Gracias. Thank you. So, si tiene alguna pregunta, por favor, de mandarnos el correo electrónico. Estamos aquí y queremos apoyarlo en todo momento para que sus niños aprendan y sigan creciendo académicamente con el inglés. Gracias por su tiempo.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.